Your arms are thin, your shoulders are narrow, but there's a gut. In a shirt, the sleeves flap around your arms with inches of empty fabric on every side. Take the shirt off and it's a different guy entirely. The arms of a 12-year-old boy, the midsection of a 45-year-old dad 3 beers into a Saturday cookout. That's skinny fat, and after 40, it's a tough puzzle to crack. Every skinny fat guy gets stuck on the same question. Should I lose the fat first or should I build the muscle first? Cut calories to lose fat and the arms shrink before the gut. Eat more to build muscle and the gut grows before the chest and shoulders. So they bounce between cutting and bulking and wake up a year later in the same body. Here's what they don't realize. They were doing the right thing, just in the wrong order. Skinny fat isn't a fat problem or a muscle problem, it's an order problem. Get the sequence right and two systems your body usually runs separately start running at the same time. You build more muscle than you break down and you tap into stored fat for fuel. It's 4 steps in one specific order. Step 1 is the one almost every guy saves for last when it should come first. Now, before we get into what those steps are, there's one thing you can do alongside them that'll make every step work faster. And almost every guy watching this is going to skip it, and that's blood work. Underneath skinny fat, there's almost always a deeper issue making it worse. Low testosterone, insulin resistance, or a sluggish thyroid. Most guys have no idea which one they're dealing with. The plan stays the same either way, but knowing what's happening on the inside changes how fast it works. It tells you where to push harder and where to ease off, which can cut months off your timeline. So I recommend you check your testosterone levels, your fasting insulin and hemoglobin A1C, and get a full thyroid panel. Again, it's not necessary, but it's certainly helpful. With that said, let's get into step 1, the one almost every guy saves for last when it should come first, and that's to focus primarily on muscle growth. Muscle is the foundation of fixing the skinny fat problem. It's metabolically active. The more you have, the more calories you burn around the clock, and it improves insulin sensitivity, which makes your body more efficient at building muscle and less efficient at storing fat. In other words, muscle is what creates the engine that makes everything else work better. Building muscle comes down to 2 things: challenging the muscle hard enough to trigger growth, then giving it the protein it needs to rebuild stronger. For the training, the main goal is to produce mechanical tension. That means exposing the muscle to challenging loads and taking sets to or close to failure. Those hard reps near the end of a set are what recruit the most growth-prone muscle fibers and create the signal your body needs to adapt. There's nuance to all of this, but as a general guideline, around 8 hard sets per muscle group per week tends to be the sweet spot for growth in men over 40. Train each muscle about twice per week. Focus on stable exercises that keep tension on the target muscle and can be loaded safely, and gradually get stronger over time through more reps, more load, or better execution. We can do an entire video on training after 40, so I'm not going to break down full programming here, but if you want the exact training structure, exercise selection, progression model, and over 20 complete programs ranging from 2 days a week up to 6, my new book, Muscle After 40, is available for pre-order at the link below. Pre-order today and you'll lock in the lowest price before it releases. The second half of the equation is protein. As we age, the body becomes less sensitive to the muscle building effects of protein, a phenomenon known as anabolic resistance. Research shows older men need nearly double the protein per meal to maximally stimulate muscle protein synthesis compared to when we were in our 20s. So aim for roughly 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day, spread across 3 to 5 meals of 30 to 40 grams each. That's what gives your body the stimulus and raw materials it needs to maximize muscle growth. Once that foundation is in place, you have to control the environment those adaptations are taking place in, which brings us to step number 2, finding the perfect energy balance. This is where most skinny fat guys make the wrong move. They either slash calories too aggressively trying to lose the gut, or they jump into a big surplus trying to bulk their way out of the problem. Both usually backfire. A deficit makes it harder to build muscle. Recovery and training performance suffer, and while you may lose some fat, you're not addressing the underlying lack of muscle. A large surplus doesn't work either. Skinny fat guys tend to partition excess calories poorly, meaning more of those extra calories get stored as fat instead of going toward muscle. That's why eating at maintenance works best here. You're giving your body enough energy to support muscle growth without the excess that drives unnecessary fat gain. This is where you build muscle and gradually improve body composition at the same time. To find your maintenance, take your body weight in pounds and multiply it by 14 if you're relatively inactive, 15 if you're moderately active, or 16 if you're very active. Now, that number is just a starting estimate. Maintenance calories vary from person to person, so the goal is to adjust based on how your body responds. Weigh yourself every morning under the same conditions, after using the bathroom, before eating or drinking, and take the weekly average. After 2 weeks, compare those averages. Trending up means you're above maintenance, so you'll want to bring calories down a bit. Trending down means you're below, so you'll want to bring them up. And staying stable means you're right around maintenance, so no changes needed. As for carbs and fats, don't overcomplicate it. Some guys perform better with more carbs, others with slightly higher fats. What matters is consistently hitting your calories and protein targets. Now, once training and nutrition are dialed in, there's another thing to add that most guys do too much of in the wrong way at the wrong time, which we'll address in step 3, managing cardio. Every skinny fat guy over 40 has tried to fix his gut with cardio, long treadmill sessions, daily HIIT workouts, constantly trying to burn more calories. But too much cardio can work against you. It increases recovery demands, can interfere with training performance and muscle growth, and when combined with low calories, can even worsen some of the same hormonal and metabolic issues we talked about earlier, like low testosterone, poor recovery, and metabolic slowdown. That doesn't mean cardio is bad, it just means it needs to be programmed correctly. Its role here is to support insulin sensitivity, daily energy expenditure, and overall activity levels. So instead of starting with a ton of cardio, start with the minimum effective dose. For most men, that means around 1 or 2 low-intensity sessions per week. Brisk walking, incline treadmill walking, cycling, or anything you can sustain without beating yourself up. Which brings me to the sponsor of today's video, the Merach S08 Aura Exercise Bike. This is exactly the kind of cardio tool that fits what we just talked about, low impact and easy on the joints. It's a recumbent style bike, which means you're seated back with full support and the pedals are positioned out in front. That setup alone takes a lot of pressure off your knees and lower back, which is the difference between cardio you can do for years and cardio that wrecks your recovery. It also comes with a 15.6-inch full HD screen, so instead of just staring at a wall, you can track your workout data right there or mirror your phone and watch YouTube while you ride, which honestly is what makes low-intensity cardio sustainable for most guys, being able to do it without feeling like a grind. You've also got adjustable resistance depending on your fitness level, and the design is built to be stable, comfortable, and easy to get on and off. So whether your goal is improving your conditioning, building your aerobic base, or simply finding a sustainable way to stay active, it's a solid option. It's also designed to fit a wide range of body types with extra leg room and simple adjustments so multiple people can use it without any hassle. If you're looking for a joint-friendly way to improve your cardio and stay consistent long-term, check out the Merach Aura exercise bike. To try it risk-free for 30 days, click the link in the description below. And whatever form of cardio you choose, a good rule is that you should still be able to hold a conversation while doing it. From there, only add more if needed. If fat loss stalls, activity levels are low, insulin sensitivity still appears poor, or conditioning needs improvement, you can gradually increase it. The goal is to use cardio as a tool to support the process, not replace the process. But even with training, nutrition, and cardio dialed in, there's one more thing that determines whether your body actually responds to it. And that brings us to step 4, optimizing your recovery. Your body doesn't build muscle while you're training. It builds muscle while recovering from the training. And recovery is where most of the hormonal and metabolic issues we talked about earlier either improve or get worse. 3 things determine whether your body actually recovers and adapts from all of this. The first is physical stress. But the good news is the first few steps already addressed a huge part of that problem. You're training in a way that produces growth while managing fatigue. You're eating enough to support your goals without restricting calories and breaking your body down. And you're no longer burying yourself with excessive cardio. That alone puts you in a much better position to recover and adapt. The next is sleep. Sleep is when muscle protein synthesis increases, testosterone production occurs, growth hormone is released, and your nervous system recovers. Poor sleep wrecks all of it. Research consistently shows sleep deprivation lowers testosterone, worsens insulin sensitivity, increases hunger and cravings, and makes both muscle growth and fat loss harder. So aim for 7 to 9 hours of high quality sleep each night on a consistent schedule. The last piece is alcohol. Guys underestimate how much it interferes with body composition. Alcohol impairs muscle protein synthesis, wrecks sleep quality, lowers testosterone, adds calories, and makes recovery noticeably worse. That doesn't mean you can never drink again, but if you're serious about fixing skinny fat, alcohol has to become occasional instead of routine. Once recovery improves, everything else in this plan starts working better. And that's the full sequence. 4 steps, 1 specific order. Run those 4 in that order, and the body that's been hiding under that soft midsection and the baggy shirt starts to show up. Chest filling out, shoulders widening, the gut going down, without you having to fight your own body to make it happen. Not another cut, not another hard bulk, not another year bouncing back and forth between the two. Just 4 steps in the right order, done consistently. And don't forget, my new book, Muscle After 40, is now available for pre-order at the link below. You'll get over 20 training programs to choose from, fully laid out for men over 40, dealing with exactly what we just covered. And if you pre-order it today, you'll lock in the lowest price available before it releases. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.